Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Aradhya Bhagavan Rajesh Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam Prema Pumartho Maha Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatra Dharana Paraha Anarpita Charim Shira Karunaya Batirna Kalau Samarpaitam Unnatojvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandhi Pita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratu Vashachi Nandana Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jagat Mangala Dvaito Mangala Gunadham Mangala Charitra Sada Mangala Jarana. Hare Krishna, we'd like to welcome all of the dear devotees who have joined us on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, and the dear devotees who've joined us on Zoom. We welcome each and every one of you to this day 78 of Sri Gauramrita. Before we continue, we'd like to announce and congratulate the participants of the quiz session from day 77. We have a new participant today. We are very, very excited and very honored. So we have Janeshwar Gauranga Prabhu, Varshana Chitra Mataji, Hari Prasad Prabhu, Mother Amrita Radhika, Anjudi, Vaijayanti Lalita Mataji, Nutan Purohit Mataji, Tithi Mitra Mataji, and Ranjani Gopika Mataji. Thank you all so much for consistently and wonderfully participating in the quiz session, and we welcome Janeshwar Gauranga Prabhu for participating in the quiz session. Thank you so much, Prabhu, and we hope that we can see your participation all the time. Hare Krishna. So today, in session 78, we will continue to describe the transcendental treasure trove of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotional pastimes. We'll discuss how Lord Gauranga arrives at Sri Nilachal Dham, Sri Jagannath Puri, and how Lord Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he takes darshan of the flag and the darshan of Sri Sudarshan Chakra on top of the temple of Lord Jagannath. What are the glories of Shankha Kshetra, which is Sri Jagannath Puri? And then we'll conclude today's session by describing the Phala Stuti, the benefits we receive by listening to these transcendental pastimes of Sri Gaurahari. So in our session yesterday, we heard how Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu had arrived in the city of Bhuvaneshwar, how Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu took darshan of the Shiva Linga there, along with Lord Hari also present in the form of the Shalagram Shilas. So Harihara, although it is famously known as Lingeshwar Mahadev temple, but it is nonetheless the manifestations of Hari and Hara in this wonderful temple. And how Lord Gauranga, along with his associates, take darshan of the wonderful temple of Sri Ananta Vasudev. And we also heard the glories of Chakra Tirtha or the Chakra Kshetra. How the city of Bhuvaneshwar was given the name Chakra Tirtha or Chakra Kshetra. So from Chakra Kshetra, today we are moving to Shankha Kshetra. So today now we will continue.
Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur in his Chaitanya Bhagavat, he describes how yesterday we heard how Lord Sri Krishna, appearing to Lord Shiva, gave him the beautiful city of Bhuvaneshwar to reside. And at that time, Lord Sri Krishna, who's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, spoke many further details about Sri Nilachal Dham. So today, let us hear the glories of this beautiful abode as is described by the Supreme Lord himself. Krishna says, "My dear Lord Shiva, today I will reveal to you that esoteric significance of this entire place, which is so dear to me. On the shores of this ocean, covering a very large area, there is a place known as Sri Nilachal.
Jai Nilachal Dham ki
Jai. And then Krishna said, this Nilachal Dham is also known as Purushottam Kshetra, or abode of the Supreme Person. It has a very pleasing and peaceful atmosphere. And even at the time of cosmic annihilation, when the entire universe is destroyed and goes back into the body of Mahavishnu, even at that time, this place remains intact, this place of Purushottam Kshetra, Jagannath Puri. What's more is that I eternally reside here, and daily I receive opulent offerings of foodstuffs. And the area of this Purushottam Kshetra, Shankha Kshetra, Sri Jagannath Puri is spread over 80 miles. All the living entities who reside in this area, by the influence of this place, they possess four-handed forms, which is visible only to the demigods and their equals. Even the demigods, even the devatas, they glorify this place as the most auspicious of all places of pilgrimage. In fact, the act of just sleeping here is equivalent to deep meditation or samadhi.
Imagine Krishna himself is speaking about the glories of Purushottam Kshetra. Purushottama means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his tract of land or his abode is called as Purushottama Kshetra. And here Krishna is declaring that everybody who resides in Purushottam Kshetra actually possesses a four-handed form, just like how the residents of Vaikuntha, everyone has Swarupya. They look just like Lord Vishnu. They have the Swarupa as exactly with four-handed forms. But that form of everyone is actually visible only to the devatas. So it's a very important pastime, which was revealed to us this time when we visited Sri Jagannath Puri Dham, that every day in the night every day when we go and take the final darshan of Lord Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra, it's the last darshan of the night when Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra are getting ready to go into bed. So at that time, it is heavily packed. They sing the Gita Govinda, the devotees, they come, they sing the Gita Govinda for Lord Jagannath to sleep very nicely. And then the Lord is, bathed with and offered sandalwood and camphor water. Very cooling, refreshing water, and sandalwood is applied on his head. And that's the time the pandas, they shout that now is the time to pray, everybody pray loudly. And it is said that all prayers that are made during this time, it is personally fulfilled by the Lord himself. Of course, all her prayers at every point, every moment is answered by the Lord. But it is said that at this particular time, Jagannath is in such a peaceful mood that he is about to take rest. You see, deities around the whole world, all other temples, they get a break even in the afternoon to take some rest. But Jagannath, he is open throughout the day, no rest at all. He is just eating, washing his hands, and again giving darshan. He's continuing to give darshan. Even when he's eating, the curtains don't close of the Lord. So he's constantly standing and taking and giving his darshan to everyone. But at this particular time, he's getting ready to take rest. So the Lord is extremely merciful. All desires are fulfilled. All prayers are answered by the Lord. So the pandas, they beat the drums, they ring the kettlebells, and they say, please pray, everyone pray. And there's a huge jubilation over there. And there's no fixed time for this last darshan, of course. But then everyone prays the Lord Jagannath. And as soon as that is done, then the Lord, tulasi garlands are put on top of Jagannath and Balabhadra. And then Lakshmi Devi, the golden deity of Lakshmi Devi, is brought out from the altar. She comes out to the main, darshan dwar. She comes out to the outside, just outside, because she comes out. There's a specific reason why she comes out, because Nidra Devi is not allowed. The goddess of sleep is not allowed inside the temple throughout the day. So Lakshmi Devi herself comes out to give permission and call Nidra Devi inside so that she can come inside and give sleep to Lord Jagannath. So she comes out, and then at that time, everybody can just go and, put their heads down at Lakshmi Devi's lotus feet, can touch her lotus feet. It's very, very special darshan. And then she stays out for at least 10 to 15 minutes, giving darshan and requesting Nidra Devi to come. As soon as the pandas, they turn and they take her inside, the lights are immediately it's all pitch dark inside. Everything, all the lamps are extinguished at one single time. One single moment, everything goes dark. As soon as she turns, everything goes dark. And then everyone is just asked to leave. But then we noticed this time when we were going out of the temple after this entire ceremony, we noticed that the main Simha Dwara, it's generally fully open, right? We walk and we go in the steps, we climb up the steps and go and take darshan. But this time when we are going out of the Simha Dwara, just a small window is open. It's not the entire door is not open. It's just a small window that is open. And we have to climb outside that window. We have to literally, how to say? We have to.
Yeah, there's a small window that is opened, this big door, but about here, there is a small window that's open, and we have to actually climb through the window and then outside.
So it's not that we can walk out. And then behind us, there was a very senior panda who was also waiting in line to, climb out the window. Through that little window, everyone was climbing out. And he explained to us, very significant thing. He said that this is the proof that devatas themselves, they come to take this last darshan of Lord Jagannath, because the devatas, they don't walk. When the devatas, take darshan of the Lord, or when they come, they don't walk, they actually float. The devatas are floating and taking darshan. So to signify that the devatas have come to, take the darshan of the Supreme Lord, taking rest, this is mentioned in the Bhavishya Puran. He said it is mentioned there that this is the only way, that's why the doors are not opened fully. And only this window is there because the devatas can just fly out. They just climb and they fly out. They don't walk out. So all of us had to literally climb out that little window, to come out of the temple after this last darshan. It is so wonderful. So what Krishna is saying here, that the demigods, they come here to take darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the demigods, they glorify this place as the most auspicious of all pilgrimage.
So we discussed how the act of sleeping is given the same equivalence as deep meditation or samadhi. In the same way, the lying posture, if somebody's just lying down, that accrue the pious results of offering obeisances to the deity. In this dham, if you just lie down, oh, you get the benefit of offering obeisances to the deity. What about walking? Simply by walking around here, it's the same as pradakshina or circumambulation. And anything that we speak is given the considered as glorification. These are the statements about Nilachal Dham in the Vedas.
Krishna is saying.
And Krishna says, this place is very dear to me. Hence it is known by my name. What name? Purushottama Kshetra. If you see in Bhagavad Gita, the 15th chapter is Purushottama Yoga. Purusha Uttama, the supreme person. That is what is the name of this Kshetra, Purushottama Kshetra, the land of the supreme person, Sri Jagannath. Then he said, don't offend the residents of this place because they are considered my equal. This place is actually outside the jurisdiction of Yamaraj, the guardian of death. So if anyone who leaves his body here in Sri Jagannath Puri, the Yamaraj, Yamadutas cannot enter here. Who enter? The Vishnu Dutas. And who is the judge of all the evil and pious deeds and the results? In this area, it's not Yamaraj. Krishna says, I am personally the judge. That's why the residents of Jagannath Puri, for them, their life and soul is Lord Jagannath. Whether it be any material desire, whether it be any material good or bad, or anything that pertains to their life, everything centers around Lord Jagannath. Because Lord Jagannath is the ultimate judge. He's the ultimate seer. He's the God who never blinks. So even if we think that while we blink the eye, while the Lord blinks the eye, we can do something. We can commit a quick sinful activity, and while he's blinking his eyes, so he didn't see. But Jagannath never blinks his eyes. He doesn't have eyelids. He's in his ecstasy of amazement to see the love of his devotees. So this is the glories of Sri Purushottam Kshetra, which is also known as Sri Nilachal Dham, and also known as Sri Jagannath Puri Dham, and very lovingly referred as Sri Shankha Kshetra.
Conch shell. And the reason why this holy dham is referred to as Shankha Kshetra is that this particular tract of land on the ocean is exactly shaped like a conch shell. You know, on the shores of the ocean, like a conch shell lying down is the shape of Purushottama Kshetra. That is why this tract of land is also called as Shankha Kshetra.
So after spending the night at Lingeshwar Mahadev or Lingaraj temple, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu continued his journey to Sri Jagannath Puri. Lord Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he looked in the direction of Puri and saw the fluttering flags at a distance on top of Sri Jagannath temple. You can see it from very far. As soon as he saw the flag, his heart just erupted with spiritual emotions. And that eruption caused a flood, drowning him in an ocean of ecstatic bliss. The Lord, he began to cry, rumbling like thunder. And this transformation in his mood from reverence to spiritual ecstasy was just so astounding to witness. While he was crying thunderously, he began to shiver and he went sluggish and he was unable to move, just still as if there is no life. The same incident is described in Sri Caitanya Mangal, by Srila Lochan Das Thakur, very beautifully. He describes how Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu entered into the land of Lord Jagannath.
So Luchandas Thakur, he explains that in the distance, Lord Sri Gaura Hari saw the beautiful temple of Lord Jagannath, which appeared like it was shining brightly in the moonlight. A large red silk flag was flapping majestically atop the kalash and the chakra of the temple. Reposing on the crest of the Niladri hill, the beautiful temple of the Supreme Lord of the universe looked like the effulgent, snow-capped Mount Kailash. You know how when the sun just rises, in Google Images, we can see sometimes how when the sun just touches the peaks of, the Mount Everest, you can see a golden effulgence. So like that, imagine how Lord Jagannath's temple was manifesting in this way. It was looking as if it was, golden atop the snow-capped mountain of Mount Kailash. Lord Gaura Hari, he saw a miracle at that moment. What was that miracle? He saw that there was one attractive, small little boy, a blue boy, who was standing on top of the temple near the chakra. There was a small blue boy who was standing on top of the chakra, and that boy was moving his finger up and down, up and down, up and down like this. And he was calling Gauranga Mahaprabhu like this. Can you imagine that how Srila Lochan Das Thakur so beautifully is explaining this? Little boy standing on top of the chakra, up and down, up and down. He was calling the Lord forward. Come to me, come to me. And
Actually, he describes that he was moving his fingers up and down. So it could be multiple fingers. He could call like this, he could have called like this, or he could with one finger, but it says moving his fingers up and down, up and down, up and, or maybe like this.
Up and down, yeah, like this. Come to me, basically, just come to me. And just see that, overcome with unlimited prema, Lord Sri Gaura Hari offered his obeisances to this little boy, and the Lord just crashed down on the ground completely unconscious. And seeing Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu completely motionless and not breathing, the devotees became so shocked. And they just said, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, what happened to you? The Lord just did not respond. He was as if he appeared lifeless. He appeared that he was already gone, and the devotees were just heartbroken. What happened to Mahaprabhu? And suddenly, as soon as Lord Nityananda said Jagannath in the ears of Lord Gauranga, he jumped up and, displaying the ecstatic symptoms in his body, he just started dancing vigorously. And the devotees, they felt so rejuvenated by this wonderful sight about what happened. And Mahaprabhu asked, as soon as he got up, he asked, did you see that boy who's standing on top of Jagannath's temple? I can see that beautiful boy whose complexion is just like a blue sapphire. It's brighter than a blue sapphire. It is so enchanting, so beautiful. Can you see that boy? The associates of the Lord, they couldn't see anyone, but they said, yes, Mahaprabhu, we see. And Mahaprabhu said, look, there he is. He's standing there. That beautiful boy is still on top of the temple, and he has a smiling face, and he's got an incomparable, gorgeous body, which is appearing to be made out of nectar, pure nectar body. He's holding a flute in his left hand, moving the fingers of his right hand. He's calling me towards him like this.
And then when he saw this little boy calling him, the Lord raced down the road to Lord Jagannath's temple with his arms raised. So you would say he was walking all the way now from
Shantipur.
from Shantipur to Jagannath Puri. But as soon as he reached at the entrance of Jagannath Puri, looking at that boy, he suddenly raised his arms and ran the rest of the way inside the temple of Lord Jagannath. Actually, one time, Srila Prabhupada was asked that, Prabhupada, have you ever, um, is there a time that you, forgot Krishna? And Srila Prabhupada said, well, there was never a time that I didn't remember Krishna. He said like that. And then he said, one time he was actually, when he was a little boy, Srila Prabhupada, he was playing near a building, and suddenly that house and the building caught fire. And everyone was running away, and Srila Prabhupada didn't know where, and suddenly he found that he's stuck in the middle of all this fire. And Srila Prabhupada didn't know what to do. He just closed his eyes and said, "Oh Krishna," just like when we get hurt, we said "Ayo," or we say "Oh no, oh ma," like that. He spontaneously just called out to Krishna. And he said, from I don't know where, a man came, he just picked me up and put me took me to a very safe place, put me there. And then I looked back to look at who is this person, and no one was there. And I've been looking what happened. And then suddenly I said, okay, Krishna saved me. And he left away. He said, to date, I don't know who actually saved me. It could be Krishna. So in this way, here also we see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wherever he's seen Krishna calling him as Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath calling him as that blue sapphire boy, Krishna. And so it could be many reasons. If we just remember Krishna, he will come and protect us. If we remember Lord Nrsingadev, then he will definitely come and he protects his devotees. Now, he may not protect us in the way we think we should be protected. He will protect us in the way he thinks is best for us. So we should accept that. We should call out for protection every time to Lord Nrsingadev. But he will come or not come based on, or he will reciprocate the way we want him to protect us, depending on whether it's best for our spiritual life. If it is not good for our spiritual life, he will reciprocate with us in a way that we don't expect, but he will definitely reciprocate. Many times, whenever we call out to Krishna, call out to Nrsingadev, we feel, oh, is Krishna listening? He didn't answer the prayers. Well, Krishna always answers the prayers. Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no. Wait for some time. But he definitely answers. But he will answer in the way that is best for our spiritual life, the way he understands it, not the way we expect. So when we pray, we should not have any expectation. We should just let it go, allow Krishna to act. And he will act sometimes in ways that we don't expect, which could be much, much better than what we expected.
Very well. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, in supreme spiritual bliss and ecstasy, he was raising both his arms and he was running down the road to Lord Jagannath's temple, and the devotees were following Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's effulgent body was glowing like millions of moons. The sandalwood tilak on his forehead was dazzling, it was shining. And his red cloth, the saffron cloth, resembled the rising sun. It is also called as Aruna Vastra, the saffron cloth. It resembled the rising of the sun. Lord Sri Gaura Hari offered obeisances over and over as he walked down the road to the temple. An unceasing stream of tears were running down from his lotus-like eyes, and big bumps of ecstasy erupted all over his divine body. Seeing Lord Jagannath's temple looming in the distance, Gauranga Mahaprabhu would repeatedly, he would fall flat on the ground to offer his obeisances. So Lord Chaitanya, he was not just running towards the temple. He was at many times, he was just falling to the ground and offering his obeisances as well. And then again getting up and again running, again offering obeisances and again running. So immersed in love of God, the Lord wept without stopping. Attracted by this intense love for Sri Gaura, the Lord of the universe, Sri Jagannath, even the Lord came suddenly. Lord Chaitanya could see Lord Jagannath came out with his extended hands, his long arms, and appeared before Lord Gaura Hari, and he said, come to me. And Lord Gauranga, as soon as he saw Lord Jagannath's extended arms like this, he became stunned to see the Lord, and he started rolling on the ground, and in a blissful voice, choked up in love of God, Sri Gaura Sundara, he said, oh Lord Jagannath, you're so merciful that you came out of your temple to give darshan to me. And Gauranga, he just started crying loudly, and Lord Jagannath suddenly disappeared. Then again, Nilachal Chandra reappeared, and again Lord Gaura Sundara just burst into joy. So we can see that how Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu was so eager to see Lord Jagannath. Even Lord Jagannath was equally eager to see Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Waves of nectar from the ocean of divine love washed over Sri Gaura Sundara's transcendental body. So this is the way Sri Gaura Sundara is entering the holy Dham.
And this is the mood in which we must enter Sri Jagannath Puri with a lot of eagerness to have darshan of the Lord. We see whenever devotees go to Jagannath Puri, they are also eager that, oh, we have arrived. As soon they just go to the hotel room, keep their place, and before doing anything, immediately, first thing, whatever time they reach, they rush to Lord Jagannath. That's how we should enter Jagannath Puri. We should not think, oh, I've come today. It's maybe it's evening now. I'll take rest and then I'll go tomorrow morning. Yes, we should go next day morning also. But immediately, as soon as we reach, following Lord Chaitanya's example, we must express our eagerness to the Lord. As soon as we reach, we should immediately, before doing anything else, before just freshen up a little bit and go to have darshan of Lord Jagannath, because we don't know whether we will get another darshan or not. And with that eagerness, we should go. Then Lord Jagannath is very happy. And then later on, if we are there for another couple of days or so, we can again plan a darshan as well. But we should plan that as soon as we reach the holy Dham, immediately we go to have the first darshan of Lord Jagannath. And Lord Jagannath is always eager, opening his arms where we can come in. He's teaching by his own example the mood, the consciousness with which we must enter the holy Dham in full dependence to the Lord.
So now we'll conclude our session by hearing some of the glories of Shankha Kshetra, in fact, some of the miracles, the 8 wonders of Jagannath Puri temple.
First, be very attentive. 8 miracles. The first miracle is that the flag always flaps in the opposite direction of the air. So whichever direction the air is coming, the flag will flap on the opposite direction, which is unusual. It should flap on the direction of the air, but it is opposite direction.
Second one is, from any place in Jagannath Puri, if we look towards the temple, the Sudarshan Chakra, which is decorating the kalash of the temple, is facing us. We never see the side of the Sudarshan Chakra. We'll never see anything else. But wherever we look at Sudarshan, he's always facing us. This is the second miracle.
Then normally, during daytime, air comes from sea to the land. And here, during evening, it goes from land to the sea, generally. But in Jagannath Puri, it's opposite. During daytime, it comes from land to sea, and during night, it comes from sea to land.
So that the Lord gets the cooling, refreshing breeze from this ocean all the time. Fourth one is no birds or no aeroplanes fly over the temple. They do not fly over the temple. Very important one.
Fifth, the shadow of the main dome is invisible at any time of the day. There's the main dome. If the sun is behind it, you should see the shadow on the opposite side of the sun. We don't see any shadow anytime.
So that we don't commit the offense of stepping on the shadow of the dome under which the Lord is residing. This was the fifth miracle. Sixth one, the quantity of bhoga that is cooked inside the temple remains same throughout the entire year. But that same quantity of prasadam can feed few thousands of people or even 20 lakhs of people, but nothing gets wasted. Not a single grain of prasad ever gets wasted. It is always consumed.
Seventh, in the temple kitchen, 7 pots are kept on top of each other, and then firewood is put on the bottom of the bottom pot. And in this process, the contents in the top pot get cooked first, and then the bottom one. Typically, the one which is closest to the fire, that content should get cooked first. But here, because Lakshmi Devi is in charge of the kitchen, of the cooking, the top pot that gets cooked first, and then the bottom pots.
Amazing.
And we can actually see it. The kitchen is right next to the Jagannath Puri temple. And you ask any Panda, they will explain all these different miracles.
And then eighth one is after entering the Simhadwara in the first step from inside the temple, we cannot hear any sound of the ocean. We cannot hear. But if we cross the step inside, as soon as we come outside the temple, we can hear the sound of the ocean. This is because the Lord should not be disturbed by the sound of the waves crashing in all the time. So he always just wants to hear his devotees glorifying him, but not the waves of the ocean crashing. So these are the 8 miracles of Sri Jagannath Puri temple. Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath. Considering Sri Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda, his life and soul, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur recites their glories in the form of this beautiful Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chandrajan Vrindavan Das Tachu Pada Jugegan. Anyone who faithfully listens to this pastime and who derives joy from listening to this pastime will certainly be able to develop this mood of deep attachment to the Lord, as is being displayed by Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Such a sincere listener who tries to imbibe the mood of the Lord and the mood of the spiritual master, he becomes perfectly happy and will definitely see the beautiful moonlight face of Lord Gauranga directly. Adyapi halila koren Shri Gaurarai kono kono bhagavan dekhi bare pai, which means Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are being performed even now. Whoever is blessed by the Lord to see can see, but others cannot see. Ekhane rohilo grantha amrita lahari bodon bhore ekbar bolo hari 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 hari.
So today we will dedicate the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to one of our very, very dear family, our dear brother, and for the well-being of his family and himself. And we also dedicate this kirtan for anybody who is celebrating their wedding anniversaries or their birthdays. So if you want to dedicate kirtan for any of you, please send us a message and we will definitely dedicate the kirtan for all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. And then right after this kirtan, we will, open up the lines.
Omagyanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Yama Paschatya Vishata Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Rama. So today, in the honor of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu entering Sri Jagannath Puri, we will sing the glorification of Lord Jagannath. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath Swami, Jai Jagannath. Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Jai Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath Swami, Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath.
Nilachal Chandra, Prabhu Jagannath, Jagannath, Jagannath.
Nilachal Chandra, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath.
Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra.
Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra.
Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Subhadra, Rohini Nandana, Jai Jagannath, Jai Subhadra, Rohini Nandana, Jai Jagannath. Jai Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Jagannath Swami Namathagami Nayanapandagami Bhavachami Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Subhadra. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath. Jai Jagannath Swami Ji, Jai Srila Prabhupada Ji, Jai Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ji, Jai. Hare Krishna. So before we open up the lines, we'll just see the quiz questions for today. Here we are. Yes.
First, what does Purushottam Kshetra mean?
Second, who is the ultimate judge in Jagannath Puri?
Third, why is Jagannath Puri called as Shankha Kshetra?
Fourth, what was the miracle Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw before he entered into the Jagannath temple?
Fifth, in what mood should one enter Sri Jagannath temple?
Sixth, what are the 8 miracles of Sri Jagannath Puri temple?
Seventh, what is the Phala Stuti of listening to these transcendental pastimes?
Thank you so much, dearest Ranjani Gopika, for these wonderful quiz questions. Now we can open up the lines for any questions, comments, reflections, realizations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Mataji, and with Pranam. All glories goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji, for taking us directly to Nilachal Dham in our in our mindset. So we feel like we are there. So we explained the glories. Seriously, we released so many things after hearing the glories of the Puri Dham, as directly spoken by Lord Krishna, you told, right? So really amazing. Even a simple thing considered as a he considered everything as whatever we pay, like so lying down considered as obeisance, like that you told, right? So merciful. Not even he is blinking the eyes. That is another thing I really loved Jagannath. Seriously, it making me to. I have to go there. I have to be there. I have to see him. I want to sing a song for him. I feel now. So and yeah, and your bhajan also very good, Prabhuji. So what I thought, like when you initially played the harmony, right? So in the mood of Jagannath, so I heard like Jai Jagannath, but I thought like you were going to sing Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. But I feel like okay, because of hearing this pastimes, I heard like okay, Jai Jagannath harmony is playing. But later you sang that one. Really, I'm so happy. Yeah, beautiful bhajan, beautiful bhajan. Yeah, really, I loved this session so much. I don't know what to say more than that. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Dandavad Pranam. I do not have any question. Thank you. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much, Hari Prasad Prabhu. We are so grateful to you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Anjali, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai
Dandavat
Shri
Pranam.
Radhe. Hari Bol.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful session. And I was just everything was just coming in front of my eyes. We just recently visited with you both. Thank you so much. Like with your divine association, we could see everything. And in the end, I was remembering, I don't know how the Prashadam, the rabdi, it was so I said the God is so merciful. I don't know how it came into the mind when the class ended. I just don't know. Maybe he said that something like the sweet, his prasad also came, and he's so merciful. And I was just remembering everything, the way we had seen and did the darshan, and feeling so blessed uh, by Lord. Thank you, Lord, for everything, and thank you, Bhaiya and Bhabhi and Ma and Baba, for taking us and showing, we could just see everything and knowing all the pastimes along with you. So that is so wonderful. I have a question today,
Yes.
and I just wanted to ask. Uh, uh, it's actually a little confusing. I just don't know. Uh, so please guide me on that.
Mhm.
Sometimes what happens, when we say offense word, when we use regarding Lord, we know that we are doing it unknowingly. But when we say that, we just do it, and then we hear, no, we should not do like this. It's an offense. So other people say, no, how you can say it is an offense when we are doing, uh, like we are doing a service for the Lord. We are doing praying, okay, we are chanting, or we are doing, no, this is the wrong word you are using. It cannot be an offense. So that is the thing. Guide me on that. Why we use the word that offense. And secondly, one more thing was like sometimes, I feel inside my heart if I don't know anything, like if I don't know anything properly, 100%. So is it okay to tell others or teach others, like even a shloka, of Bhagavad Gita, for an example? So if I know that I'm not chanting it properly myself, but I am chanting it to practice it till I perfect it. But
Mm.
before that, if somebody asks me, okay, can you teach us? Should we do it or should not we do it?
Okay, very good questions. I'll answer the second one first, and I'll need some explanation of the first question. So the second one is if we are not perfect in everything, in something, then should we preach about it or not? The thing is, what is the alternative? The alternative is we wait till we perfect something and then we go preach for that, about it. But can we ever be perfect? When we become perfect in something, we feel we should become more perfect, most perfect. Even Srimati Radharani, who is the perfect cook for Krishna, she herself feels that she needs to keep improving and she needs to make more perfect and most perfect and most perfect. So if we wait for perfection, that day may never come. But rather, whatever position we are, we should be very humble and honest about it and say, if someone asks us, we can say, look, I'm also practicing, but whatever I know, I can share with you. And if you want more detailed understanding, you can refer to some Srila Prabhupada's book or refer them to some senior devotee. But you must share whatever you understand. But give a disclaimer about it. Because if we know 2%, if we share that 2% humbly, then Krishna will make it 4%. Krishna will double it because he'll see the eagerness that you want to reach out with the message. That's very important. But if we wait ourselves to be perfect, that may never come. This is how Srila Prabhupada also responded. But at the same time, we should not pose, oh, I know everything. And now you should listen to me. This is how it is. I am your guru now. Now, if we are not in that mood and we're humbly saying, and to be humble means to be honest about what our understanding is. And there's no harm in sharing if we don't know perfectly. There's no harm in saying, I don't know exactly how it is, but this is how much I understand. And if you want to know more understanding, I'm reading this particular book, you can refer to that book, or you can refer to a particular senior devotee who may be able to explain in a much better way if you want to. So that way we are sharing as well as directing them to the right place as well.
Okay, fine. But if you're
So-
not confident, also still you can do it, or you should just wait for little when you become little confident.
Don't wait.
Well, you must say that I'm not confident about it,
Yeah.
but so put a disclaimer first and share whatever you can in a mood of sharing, but not say wrong things.
Yes.
That you must know. If you're saying something, just say, look, I'm not sure about this, but this is what my understanding is so far. And if you feel that you don't have much understanding to even explain that, then you can direct them to the proper place. But the point is, we should not shy away from sharing our spiritual knowledge, whatever little we have, under the pretext of being perfect. So at different situations, you'll have to take that call. But in our mood, we should not hesitate to share. At the same time, if you feel that you really don't know enough to satisfy that person, you can refer them to someone who may be able to explain it better or refer them to a particular book. That is also sharing. So at least you're not shying away from sharing. And that way, Krishna and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, within the heart, they witness that you are eager to preach, and they will improve your understanding as a result of that. Because bhakti is a very personal process. Every act we do, every intention we have, Lord Jagannath is the witness, Krishna is the witness. And based on our faith, based on our eagerness and desire, he will reciprocate.
Okay. Thank you for such a wonderful answer.
And the first question was, can you give a specific example for the first question? Like
Example was
what kind of offense you are saying? That if you are speaking something offensively to the Lord or praying offensively?
no,
Or in the
it was
process that you're committing
chanting.
some offense.
No, like chanting, or like when we are chanting, we are talking to somebody and then we are chanting. Again, we are talking, we are chanting, or we are watching TV and chanting. So, like you had taught us, and I just referred. So they said, no, you are using a wrong word. How can it be an offense? So I said, no, this is the thing I have learned from my Diksha gurus, and they have told me like that. So they said, no, this is wrong. You can taking God's name, it cannot be an offense. And I said, okay, fine. This is my understanding. Then I'm sorry if I hurt you. And I just kept quiet then.
So if we chant and it is said that there are 10 offenses against the chanting of the holy names that we must avoid. But then there is an 11th offense, which is considered to be the root cause of all these 10 offenses. And in the morning, we chant the 10 offenses, and at the end of that, we say it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting.
It's, of course, part of the 10th offense itself.
Yes. So the root cause of all offenses is inattentive chanting. So if someone is chanting and talking, chanting and listening, they are inattentively chanting, because our mind cannot focus on two places. And it's difficult when it's focusing on one to move it to another and then quickly move back. And, those who are great souls, the great sadhus, they may be able to do that, but we are not at that stage as practicing sadhakas. So we should make sure that we are not inattentively chanting, because that inattentive chanting itself is an offense towards chanting of the holy name. And if we make someone aware of that, that is not wrong. That is not an offense. Yes, the Lord's holy name is very pure, and the holy name will never be contaminated because it's pure. But our consciousness could be contaminated because it's prone to that contamination and offense.
So one thing that Srila Prabhupada says in this regard, in this particular context, is that Srila Prabhupada says that, when we go to school, in our chemistry lab, there are certain procedures of getting the equation right. Certain chemical reactions, you combine this plus this, and then you'll get this. If you don't do this, then you get a different thing. You'll have a blow up in the chemistry lab. So we have to follow the procedures, So Srila Prabhupada says that even when someone wants to be a medical doctor, when someone wants to learn surgery, when they want to learn anything in any field, they have to go through procedures. How they should do, why they should do. They know they have to go through these kind of learning processes. But then when it comes to spirituality, Srila Prabhupada says that, everyone thinks that they have their own way, to do it. And that way is the perfect way. But no, even in spirituality, if we need to achieve love of God, there is certain procedures, certain do's, certain don'ts. But at the same time, Srila Prabhupada also says that holy name of Krishna is like fire. Whether we know that fire burns or if we don't know that fire burns, it will still burn somebody, right? But at the same time, if we know what the properties of fire are, then we will take caution. We will be cautious that, I should not touch fire, then I will get myself burnt, So fire will not discriminate, but if we know what we are doing, if we know how we are supposed to do things, then the resultant reaction comes faster. So when we do offenseless chanting, this is not what we are saying. This is directly what is said in the Shastra. What is offensive chanting? How is it offensive chanting? We think that, whatever we do in regards of Krishna, that is our bhakti, our devotion, and it is between me and Krishna, and no one can interfere in that. Yes, that is true. No one can interfere in that. But then the result that we get out of that is totally dependent on Krishna. Because Krishna will see, you've chanted like this, so this is the result you'll get. Because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So if we are surrendering only 20% to Krishna's holy names, if we are just only 20% listening to Krishna and 80% listening to something else, we'll get the result for 20%, but we will get the result for 20%. So as much as we go towards Krishna, as much as what we do following the process, we get that much, that is simple, procedures. When we come to spiritual life, we think that we have the copyright of doing what we want the way we want. No, It's not like that. Spiritual life is also a university, and we need to educate ourselves how to achieve proper love of God. How do we follow in procedures where we can actually achieve, pure love of God? There are procedures. Hope this
Right.
answers your question.
Yeah, yesterday's story also, when you had told us about the conversation between Lord Shiva and Krishna, that also
Yes,
was such a big eye opener. And even the way Prabhupada had explained not to take flowers from anybody's garden.
yes,
Unknowingly, I had done it earlier,
yes,
because, and I used to just okay, outside nobody. And then once you had told us in the class, I remember in the Bhagavatam class 2 years back, you had told us. And after that, I said, okay, I have to go and take the permission, and then I have to take. So after that, it became so conscious in the thing that I just could not take also. I said,
yes,
yes, it is so true. If we cannot take anybody's thing, whether it is a flower or an expensive thing, but it isn't it is like हम चोरी तो कर रहे हैं, like that thought
yeah,
came in my mind कि, without permission if
yes,
you are doing it. But
yeah,
this is so true, like so many things we don't know. Okay, unknowingly we do it, it's fine, but once we know it and still we do it, it's really, I feel it is an offense, because now I
yeah,
know about it and now the knowledge is there, and still we are just overruling it. It is becoming like, we are just not listening to
yeah,
our
yeah,
gurus, and we are just overruling it, and we are just doing it according to our comfort, or
yeah.
I don't know what.
No, it's very true, very true. We have to follow the guidelines. We can't say, oh, I don't need the GPS. I can go from point A to point B, and I will just go. I will follow my heart. I'll do what I want. Yeah, we can do that, but it will take forever to get to our destination. But if we follow the GPS, then we know exactly where to go, where to take right, where to take left, where to keep going straight. We know exactly. So it's very important to follow the
That is
rules.
for our own growth. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so much for the wonderful questions, Dee. Thank you.
for wonderful explanations. And I got it like where I was going little wrong. It was like you always correcting me and guiding me. Thanks for your constant guidance.
We are
Really
ever
appreciate.
grateful to you for your beautiful association. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Vinita Harjani Mataji had a hand raise. Mataji, did you have a question or anything to say? Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Yeah,
Pranam.
I have a question regarding this. Like now, since so many days, I'm not able to attend the class due to some personal reasons. How do I compensate? And all the time I'm feeling that guilt, like I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. Like my whole pattern has got disturbed because I'm having my son's wedding from tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations. I was going
Thank
to
you so
message
much.
you.
I need your blessings. Yeah. So it's constantly in my mind. Like today also, like in the morning I got up, but I couldn't recollect that I could attend the class. Then suddenly I remembered through one friend, I said, let me log in and see like what is going on. So all this is happening now. How do I compensate with all this? Like, I don't know how to handle these feelings.
Well, that's a very sincere question, and I'm sure Krishna will reciprocate with your sincerity. I mean, if you're not able to listen to this, if you're talking about this class that we are giving now, then it's also uploaded on YouTube. You can listen whenever you want. If you're not able to listen live, you can go to our YouTube channel, Advaita Kala Sudha, and this class would be there uploaded almost immediately. And you can then listen to this class maybe while you're cooking, or maybe you're doing maybe while driving, or of course, be careful while driving.
Yeah.
But yeah, things like cooking or you're doing some other thing, you can listen to the class while doing that, but not while chanting. Chanting, let's focus on chanting, and that's the priority. And there is a recorded lecture here, or if you want to hear some other recorded lectures of some other devotees or Maharajas that inspire you, at least make sure that you're listening for 15 minutes every day at least, and reading for 15 minutes. Make sure that whatever happens, hell or high water, you are reading one verse from Gita, one verse from Bhagavatam, and one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and listening to this lecture or any lecture that you like while you are doing something else. So that is one way that you can do. But things happen. We try to be disciplined, but some emergency or something comes up. We have to change our schedule, and then we try to get back into schedule. So those kind of things will happen. But make sure that you are still able to hear and chant and read Srila Prabhupada's books every day, because that is like watering the seed of our consciousness. If once we get out of this, even if we can do for a few minutes, that's okay every day. At least we don't lose the touch. Because if you don't listen or don't hear, don't chant for one day, again, Maya will say, you didn't do much today, so what? Did anything happen?
Yes,
And you say,
exactly.
yeah, that's good. Nothing happened. Then it happens the second day again. And we say, nothing happened. And then it goes on, and then several months go by, years go by, and we're like, hey, I thought nothing happened, but actually so many, I've lost touch with the spiritual life. So something you must do every day to hear, to chant, and to read, even if it is one verse, just to keep in touch. Otherwise, if you see, the example is given in Bhagavatam that the path that is not being walked upon, wild grass starts growing there. So if we are supposed made a like a natural path, I'm not saying about cement path or anything, but a natural path across the field, and if after some time people stop walking through that path, suddenly wild grass grows there. So similarly, if every day we don't practice walking through this path, after some time, wild grass will go and grow, and we'll be like, this path is restricted. Where is the path? We'll forget the path. So at least just to maintain going through that path, minimum you must be able to maintain so that you can keep in touch. And 15 minutes, 10 minutes to read, 15 minutes to hear, throughout 24 hours, we will be able to find some time for that. And chanting, of course, is the priority. Hearing and chanting is like two tracks on which our train of spiritual life goes.
Our bhakti train is moving.
If we chant but not hear or read, then the path cannot go. But if we hear and we read but don't chant, again, the train cannot go. So both, when we hear more, we are inspired to chant more. When we chant more, we are inspired to read and hear more. Both go hand in hand.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I had actually started feeling that I don't know how I'll pick up myself, how it's going to happen. And related to Mataji's question on offense and chanting, like we should not speak. It happens many times that while I'm chanting and somebody comes up and asks a question or they want me to reply, so I am a part of it, but I hold my beads over there. I don't continue chanting. And once that is done, and I still, then I continue. But the bead bag, my hand is there. So is that okay, or that also should not be done? Like,
well, if you notice in Srila Prabhupada's conversations many times, Srila Prabhupada is walking. If you see those videos, Srila Prabhupada is walking and someone asks a question. Srila Prabhupada's hand is there, but he does not chant. He's actually replying and he's having conversation. And then as soon as that is done, again, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare, and that's perfectly fine. So as long as we are not chanting while we are talking, that is perfectly all right. No problem.
But again, the mind then, once you are chanting, then you hold your beat, then you answer the conversation, then you go back. The mind, while we are chanting, the mind is still back in that conversation, and we start analyzing, how did I answer? How was the question while we are chanting? So it is not the ideal. Ideal should be you can tell them, can you please wait till I finish this round and complete that round, put your beads out of your hand, and then you take part in the conversation. Then you can come back and start the next round. So if you can humbly ask if they can wait for the question for some time. If it's an emergency, you can't do much. But as much as possible, try to finish that round before saying something. So at least that way the mind is conscious that, oh, I have to get back to chanting and things like that.
If you see the Acharya series by Srila Prabhupada, you will see that, Srila Prabhupada would, and if you know the schedule of Srila Prabhupada would wake up in the middle of the night, he would translate, and then he would chant his japa during the Mangalarti time. So actually, Srila Prabhupada would finish his 16 rounds before Mangalarti, during the Mangalarti time. And then he would go for morning walk. But when he's going for morning walk, he would chant extra rounds. So that time also, or even when he's sitting and giving darshan in the evenings, he would always have his hand inside the bead bag, but those were for extra rounds. But he would not talk. The main principle is not talk while chanting. But if anyone, there's no one talking anything, Srila Prabhupada would continue chanting, So that is the main thing. And what Prabhu is mainly meaning to say is that we are, first of all, we must be attentive, at least for our 16 rounds. And try our best to do it without this kind of interruption. That's the main point, basically.
Mataji, I have not chanted since so many days. In the morning, what all I can do, 7-8 rounds, I've only done that.
Yes.
I've not done the 16 rounds. That has kept me up. But seeing you both today, I'm very happy. Thank
We
you
are
so
also
much.
very happy.
We are so happy that you could join us. And I was actually going to message you for, wishing you all the best for your son's wedding.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that you are here. I was so happy to see
actually,
you.
I had a connect with Shruti Mata today on message, I was trying to call her. So she said, no, I'm attending Kala Sudha. I'll talk to you afterwards. So I said, why not I do that? Like, I don't even remember that I can attend a class. It has happened that way. Like, just bless me, I get back again. I'm missing all.
Well, heartfelt prayers are always.
Honestly, Mataji, I don't enjoy the material world now. I'm really not liking anything around me.
That's wonderful, wonderful. And we are so grateful to you for your association. And we pray that your son's wedding goes on very wonderfully. Heartfelt congratulations to all of your family.
Thank you so much, Mataji, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna. And I wanted to mention to you that we have offered a special puja to Lord Nrsingadev in your family's name for this day.
Thank you so much, Mataji. I'm blessed, truly blessed.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
I'll make sure at least for 10 minutes I see both of y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
After every time after the class is complete, in the WhatsApp group, the YouTube link is also sent.
Yeah, I am going to sit and watch all because I don't want to do it halfway. Because whatever you all do, I keep writing the question answers.
Yeah. Sure.
I've completed around 600 questions
of
Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes.
Because
once when you all say no, it just enters. It doesn't register. Like, we are not so good people. So after writing a little better, after reading, it still becomes better. That same answer. So that practice, instead, I'll take a break, honest break, and then once I get back, I'll start doing it again. But I'll make sure I want to see you all both every day.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Saranam Prabhu.
And pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to Guru Maharaj. It's a beautiful narration of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Jagannath. And so wonderful wonders, that you have described. So really they are wonderful. It's hard to explain how they happen, but they happen, So it is so wonderful. And also your advice, to all the questions to the devotees, it's so nice. It's so valuable, Mataji. It's very nice. Even though we do chant, we keep forgetting, the basic rules.
Yes. Yes.
And, we have to keep reminding ourselves, not to do this, not to do that, And like Prabhuji was saying about the humility, in once Gopal Krishna Maharaj he was giving a lecture in the temple,
Mm-hmm.
and he was telling the story of Ajamil. And when the Yamadutas came, 3 of them came. And when the Vishnudutas came, 4 of us came. So Maharaj was telling, because of the 3 gunas, and the 3 Yamadutas came. So one of the devotee asked, why the 4 Vishnudutas came? Is there any reason? So, Maharaj could have given any reason like 4 regulative principles, 4 avatars, or something like this, something like that. But Maharaj said, no, it's not mentioned in the book, so I don't know. So even Maharaj, he says he was so humble.
Yes.
He admitted that he does not know what's not in the book. He does not want, he didn't want to speculate. So that is the humility all the time. I keep always remembering that. So humble, such a great devotee, and he was so humble, Mataji. So
Very true, Prabhuji, very true.
Thank you so much for sharing this wonderful pastime.
Yeah, sure. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Good to
Hare
see you both
Krishna.
together.
Thank you. Good to see you all as well.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna. Please
Thank
accept my
you.
humble obeisances to both of you. I was so happy that the Mataji's asked these questions because I've been very concerned about having the new responsibility of the baby, and I was feeling resentment to the mother and anger because a lot of my spiritual life has decreased to the point of I always was getting up in the morning and doing my japa. It's a lot, and now sometimes I don't make it in the morning. I have to do it in the evening or in the afternoon, and I became frustrated. And so it's good to know that Krishna is still understanding as long as I'm trying my best. But
Absolutely.
it's been
Absolutely.
so
He does understand.
It's
Absolutely.
been really hard, because my baby's 18, and even though I have my grandson for 5 years, he's 14. It's just really difficult sometimes to juggle everything, the house still working and the baby, and wanting to be more involved, in my spiritual life, which I was very involved before she came. From listening to so many Matajis and Prabhujis that know even just a little of the situation, they come up to me and just tell me, oh, you're supposed to have this baby. Oh, this is what is supposed to happen and all of that. And I don't know how they can see it. Even some of them don't even know anything about what's going on. And they would just approach me. And so it gives me the idea that, yes, I'm doing the right thing. And
absolutely, yes.
I'm not falling too short. So I feel sad sometimes, but I have to get over it.
Always know that Krishna is witnessing all this and we are with you.
Yes.
And if you have the faith that Krishna has given this responsibility to me, so I should complete this responsibility on behalf of Krishna. I'm taking care of this wonderful soul. That soul belongs to Krishna. And so on behalf of Krishna, I'm taking care. If you have this consciousness, Krishna will reciprocate with this consciousness. He says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. In Bhagavad Gita, he says, as you surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. So if we are taking care with that faith, Krishna will reciprocate with that.
Definitely. And you are doing it with that consciousness. We know it personally. So absolutely, this is Krishna who has given this responsibility to you, because you have an angel-like heart, and there's no one else who can really take care of that little soul as wonderfully as you're doing. So Krishna has thoughtfully given this responsibility to you, and the way you are executing it, it is an example. It is inspiring to all of us.
I don't deserve the credit, but to thank you, and it just keeps me going. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Amrita Radhika. Love you.
Love you.
Haribol. Anybody else? If not, we will end our session here today. And
Right.
tomorrow we will see how Lord Jagannath is seeing Lord Gauranga and Gauranga Mahaprabhu. What happens to him after he sees Lord Jagannath?
Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Kripa
sindhubhyeva cha
patitanam
patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo
namaha.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shruti Mataji, thank you so much for your beautiful comments. We are so
Thank you,
grateful.
Mataji. Thank you, Mataji Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada Pranam.